For most of history, power has been tied to place. You build a plant, you connect it to the grid, and everything that depends on it must stay nearby. Energy has always been heavy, fixed, and slow to move. But modern warfare, disaster response, and critical infrastructure don't work that way anymore. They move fast, they relocate, they operate in unstable environments. And in 2025, one of the biggest weaknesses exposed in both military and civilian operations is energy logistics. Fuel convoys are vulnerable. Diesel generators are loud, inefficient, and dependent on constant resupply. Batteries don't last long enough. Solar and wind are unpredictable. And when power fails, everything else fails with it. That is the problem Radiant Nuclear is trying to solve. This is not about building a better power plant. This is about making nuclear energy mobile. Here on Innovation Corner with Dan, we explore innovations that challenge not just technology, but assumptions. Radiant Nuclear's idea that a nuclear reactor can fit on a truck and operate safely in the field sounds almost impossible. And yet, in 2025, it is becoming very real. Radiant Nuclear is developing a portable microreactor designed to be transported by road, deployed rapidly, and operated in remote or hostile environments. This is not civilian nuclear power scaled down. It is a system designed from the ground up for mobility, resilience, and autonomy. To understand why this matters, you have to understand how power works in military and remote operations today. Modern military bases, forward operating locations, and emergency response sites rely heavily on diesel generators. These generators require constant fuel delivery. Every gallon of fuel transported becomes a logistical burden and a security risk. Convoys must be protected, routes must be cleared, and every interruption creates vulnerability. Energy, in other words, becomes a liability. Radiant Nuclear's vision is to turn energy into an asset. Their reactor is designed to provide continuous, reliable electricity for years without refueling. No fuel convoys, no daily resupply, no dependency on fragile supply chains. Once deployed, the system simply runs. That single shift changes operational planning entirely. Instead of designing missions around fuel availability, planners can design missions around objectives. Power becomes stable, predictable, and self-contained. But how do you make a nuclear reactor small enough and safe enough to move on a truck? That question is at the heart of Radiant's engineering challenge. Radiant's reactor is a microreactor, meaning it produces far less power than traditional nuclear plants, but enough to supply critical infrastructure. It is designed with robust shielding, passive safety features, and simplified operation. The goal is not maximum output. It's maximum reliability per unit of size. The reactor uses solid fuel and operates with cooling systems that do not rely on high pressure or complex active components. If something goes wrong, the system is designed to shut itself down safely without human intervention. This emphasis on passive safety is not optional. It is essential. In a battlefield or disaster zone, you cannot assume perfect conditions. Systems must tolerate shock, vibration, power loss, and communication interruptions. Radiant's reactor is being built with that reality in mind. Another key aspect is containment. Radiant's design places enormous emphasis on keeping radioactive material securely contained under all circumstances. Transportation accidents, environmental hazards, and hostile actions are all considered in the design process. The reactor is meant to be rugged, sealed, and resistant to tampering. This is nuclear engineering driven by real-world constraints, not theoretical ideals. In 2025, Radiant Nuclear has moved beyond concept demonstrations and into advanced development stages. The company has attracted attention precisely because it is addressing a problem few others are willing to touch: nuclear energy outside traditional infrastructure. And the military is paying close attention. For defense organizations, energy independence is strategic. Bases that can generate their own power without relying on fuel shipments are harder to disrupt. Operations become quieter, reducing detection. Logistics chains shorten, costs drop, risk decreases. A truck-mounted nuclear reactor is not just a power source, it's a force multiplier. But Radiant's technology is not limited to military use. Disaster response is another major application. After hurricanes, earthquakes, or grid failures, electricity is often the first thing lost and the last thing restored. Hospitals, communication networks, water treatment systems, and emergency shelters all depend on power. A portable reactor that can be deployed quickly and operate continuously could transform disaster recovery. Instead of waiting for grid repairs or fuel deliveries, responders could establish a stable energy hub almost immediately. Remote industrial sites are another use case. Mining operations, research stations, and isolated communities often rely on expensive, polluting energy sources. Radiant's system could provide a cleaner, more reliable alternative. We often emphasize that the most powerful technologies are those that solve multiple problems at once. Radiant's reactor does exactly that. Of course, the idea of a mobile nuclear reactor raises serious questions. Public perception is one of the biggest hurdles. Nuclear energy already carries fear. Add mobility and those fears multiply. Radiant must not only prove technical safety, it must build trust. That means transparency, testing, regulation, and clear communication about how the system behaves under extreme conditions. Regulatory challenges are also significant. Nuclear regulations were written for stationary plants, not mobile systems. Radiant is navigating a landscape that was never designed for what they are building. But innovation often begins exactly there, where rules lag behind reality. Another challenge is scale. Radiant's reactors are not meant to power cities. They are designed for specific, high-value applications. That means the business model depends on customers who understand the strategic value of reliable, independent power. The military does. Emergency agencies do. Certain industries do. And that focus may be Radiant's greatest strength. They are not trying to convince the entire public. They are solving a defined problem for defined users. And in technology, that approach often succeeds where grand visions fail. As energy demand grows and geopolitical instability increases, the value of portable, secure power will only rise. Climate change is making disasters more frequent. Conflicts are becoming more technologically complex. Infrastructure is becoming more fragile. In that context, Radiant Nuclear's work feels less radical and more necessary. Still, the risks are real. Any nuclear incident, even unrelated, could affect public acceptance. Regulatory delays could slow deployment. Manufacturing challenges could increase costs. And competition from other microreactor developers is intensifying. Radiant's future depends on execution. But what makes this company fascinating is that it forces us to rethink what nuclear energy can be. Not a massive plant feeding a distant grid, but a compact system delivering power exactly where it's needed, exactly when it's needed. Every transformative technology reaches a moment where excitement meets discomfort. For Radiant Nuclear, that moment is not technical, it's philosophical. Because once you accept that a nuclear reactor can fit on a truck, move across borders, and operate independently, you are forced to confront questions that go far beyond engineering. This is the part of the conversation most people avoid. We believe real innovation must be examined from every angle, not just how it works, but what it changes and what risks it introduces into the world. A portable nuclear reactor is not just a power source, it is a strategic asset. And strategic assets always reshape power dynamics. For militaries, the appeal is obvious. Energy independence means operational freedom. Bases no longer need to be near fuel supply lines. Missions are no longer constrained by generator noise or fuel availability. Forward positions can remain active for months or years without resupply. But that same capability introduces a new kind of responsibility, because when nuclear energy becomes mobile, the line between civilian infrastructure and military capability becomes thinner. A reactor designed for disaster relief could, in theory, be deployed in contested zones. A system meant to save lives after earthquakes could also support prolonged military operations. That dual-use nature is not unique to Radiant, but it is intensified by mobility. Historically, nuclear reactors were fixed, visible, and heavily guarded. Their locations were known. Their risks were centralized. Portable reactors challenge that model. They introduce nuclear technology into environments that are dynamic, unpredictable, and sometimes unstable. This raises ethical questions that regulators, governments, and societies will have to confront. Who controls deployment decisions? Who is responsible if something goes wrong in a conflict zone? How do you ensure security in regions where infrastructure is fragile or governance is weak? Radiant Nuclear cannot answer these questions alone, but their technology forces them into the open. We look for technologies that redefine categories. Radiant Nuclear is redefining what a power plant looks like. As 2025 unfolds, Radiant Nuclear stands at the edge of a new frontier, one where nuclear energy is not confined by geography,